Okay, so we've come to Canon HQ in Hong Kong for a product press announcement. So hopefully this is going to be a camera. Let's see. Oh, there's lots of people here. 5D Mark II, 5D Mark III. That's it's well done. We turned up to the party a bit late, as usual, fashionably late. We heard that there's no food here for us to take, so we thought we'd eat first, get it in there. Fuel's in there. Let's got all the cameras.
The amount of people and lack of food and models basically indicate that Canon don't need any novelties to attract people to come when the product is so important. That means that there was no Mark III for us to play with.
This is the Canon 5D Mark III light. Light on features. Generally quite light, actually. Pinhole version. Oh, it's boring though, isn't it? Let's get the camera. Everybody's getting quite hot and sweaty about the 5D Mark III. Well, that's quite exciting, but sweating everywhere. You can smell the room, just sweat, getting excitement. Imagine if there was a model here. They'd be releasing all kinds of liquids on the floor.
We were waiting, playing about, and then all of a sudden, everybody left, and it was our turn.
Why are we waiting?
We've been waiting a long time. It's almost the end, but finally we've got it.
Yes! So anyway, 5D Mark III, here it is. We got the 2405 on it. And it actually does feel a bit different. It feels kind of like the 7D, more like the 7D.
It looks kind of the same, but the difference is subtle. It does feel better in the hands, a much better grip.
And of course you've got this live view switch here. And that's the only improvement of the 5D Mark III. Thanks for watching. See it? No, not really. It's got a 22.3 megapixel sensor in it. Full frame obviously, they haven't downsized.
It's an increase of 1 megapixel, not dramatically different, but that doesn't mean that's a bad thing. How many megapixels do you really need?
Actually, one thing you notice is that the top LCD screen is a lot finer. Seems like there's more detail. Not that you really need more detail. It looks like you can fit more stuff on it. Oh, look at that! Before on the 5D Mark II, it only showed 999 if you had over 1,000 shots left. Let me try one more thing. Okay, I should have 3,172 shots left. Oh, the maximum is still 1999. Okay, so that's the maximum for some reason. And we've got two card slots. One's bigger, one's smaller. You can put SD or CF in there. But actually the buttons on this, I'm glad they've gone for these buttons rather than ones on the 60D. The 60D buttons are really quite awful. And all the buttons are pretty much the same, but it's got a nicer feel to them. The previous ones were kind of rounded. It's a bit like Pac-Man's arse. We've got a rate button now. Rate. Not rate. You can rate your photos. Look at that, 5 stars. Well done, 5 stars. Good job. Like. Oh, and another interesting new feature is the mode dial lock. Look at that. Oh, yeah, I hate it as well. And this has got 100% accurate viewfinder. Much more accurate framing. Oh, and it sounds a lot nicer, that shutter. Compare the sound of this one. Sounds great. Oh, the menus are pretty funky. That's pretty jazzy. Look at that. You got one new colour in the video. Look at that, magenta, pink enter. But one big improvement is the fact that it's got a 61-point autofocus thing.
It has 41 cross-type AF points and an all-new IFCL metering system. Lovely.
It's like Pac-Man. Now this has got a 6 FPS continuous burst rate, which is actually more than the D800, the competition. Oh yeah, makes me do sex wee in my pants. And now you do have the headphone jack, monitoring the audio, handy. Now you've got the movie mode, and you've got these on-screen features here. You can see the level adjustments.
One thing is for sure, Canon has improved the noise performance so much. At ISO 12800, the Mark III is cleaner than the Mark II at 6400, and not too much different to the Mark II 3200. ISO 25600 is not too bad with the Mark III, and it can be expanded too. Good for low light shooters and pervy paps. Well, we really didn't get much time to play with it, but it's going to start shipping around the end of March, so that means we're going to do a jolly good real world review real soon. Stay tuned to Digital Rev TV for that video.
So there we have it, that's the Canon 5D Mark III. I think the autofocus, metering and that viewfinder are the killer features of this camera. But we'll see when we give it a full review. Subscribe. See ya.